Aloha mai kako, a como mai to Curtain Call, a weekly program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui OnStage is producing the Maui premiere of Rick Elise and Wayne Barker's Peter and the Starcatcher, based on the 2004 novel by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, originally produced on Broadway in 2012 by Disney Theatrical Productions, among others, where it won 5 Tonys, including for Christian Burrell as Best Performance by an Actor in a Play. This production is directed by Kristi Scott, with musical direction by Sara Jelley. It features some of Maui's most experienced actors, coupled with a plethora of folks for whom this is their first time on stage, and some of our best young talent as well. Also, when one looks at the program, one cannot help but be surprised to see some characters with the same surnames. Ms. Scott was blessed with so much talent that she double cast the lead young people. Some nights, the audience will see the Neverland cast, this is the one we saw, and on others, it will be the Wasp cast. The play is the prequel to the J.M. Barrie classic Peter and Wendy, which famously became one of the best-known musicals, Peter Pan. In this show, we learn how Peter got his name, how the evil captain got his hook, we meet Tinkerbell and the crocodile. It begins in the 19th century in a bustling port in London. Lord Astor David Nagard, who is a starcatcher, is on a secret mission for Queen Victoria, God save the Queen. His daughter, Molly Lily Warner, and her nanny, Mrs. Brumbake, Ryan Sherwood, is with him. But she will be going to Rangoon on the Neverland. He gives Molly an amulet with magic powers and tells her if she is ever in trouble, she can contact him. Lord Astor is to shepherd some treasures for the Queen on the Wasp. However, Slank, Alicia Cullens, the slimy, cruel captain of the Neverland, switches the look-alike trunks and the drama begins. Aboard the Neverland are 3 orphans, Prentice, Lincoln Sherwood, Ted, Gus Solomon, and the unnamed one, called the boy, who will become Peter, Sawyer Dunning-Zekis. They are treated harshly, to say the least, by the crew of the Neverland. Meanwhile, on the Wasp, Lieutenant Gregor, Francis Tawa, reveals he is really Smee, a pirate, and the pirates have taken over the ship. Now we meet Captain Blackstash, Dale Button. Kind of like Blackbeard, but not as fierce and given to malapropisms. He wants the key to the treasure, but Lord Astor is loyal to the Queen and refuses. Stash threatens to catch the Neverland and kill his daughter. He still refuses, so Stash just searches him and finds it. But to his horror, it contains not a treasure, but sand. Realizing that Slank has pulled a fast one, the Wasp goes in pursuit of the Neverland. In the meantime, Molly has liberated the boys and becomes slightly smitten with the unnamed boy. A terrible storm erupts, and they are cast off the Neverland with the treasure and land on an island inhabited by the fierce mollusks, with their chief fighting prawn, Shane Borg. The plot thickens and boils, but you'll have to go and see for yourself how Boy becomes Peter Pan, how the Lost Boys come to be, who Wendy is, and how the captain got his hook, among other surprises. The first act is raucous and storytelling. It's not until Stash arrives, Molly asserts herself, and Lady Bumbrake is smitten with one of the sailors, Alf, Faith Roberts, in a panto-inspired gender-bending relationship that is quite funny, that the play takes off. There is a good deal of bluster, and the whip-cracking adds another level to the show. This is a show that is fun for all. It is a frenetic energy and controlled chaos that is characteristic of a Kristi Scott show. Everyone on stage is having so much fun, it spills into the audience and washes over them like the waves on the sea. There are so many clever touches, such as the introduction of the sailing vessels. There are magical moments when Molly and unnamed boy are beneath a sky filled with stars. The first moment that Molly sees unnamed boy, the first moment Sailor Alf gazes upon Mrs. Bumbrake, and so many more. One of the best lines in the show is when Captain Stash, in reference to the treasure, he says, "It's as elusive as a melody in a Philip Glass opera." Many of the audience didn't get it. Also, when Ms. Warner does Norse code, not Morse code. It's an ancient code of the Vikings, supposedly. It is a tour de force moment. Ms. Warner is a real star in the making. The technical elements in the show add so much to it. The costumes by Vicki and Jesse Nelson are highly creative, especially the mermaid outfits in the second act. That is such a show-stopping opening to the act. Carol Walker was tasked with creating not only a 19th century London wharf, but also 2 ships' decks and innards, as well as a wild sea and an island paradise, and she did it with her usual aplomb. Everyone associated with this show should take a big bow. It was a fun night at the theater, and you'll only have 3 more chances to catch it, Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 3. Go to www.mauionstage.com for tickets and information. Went to see Baldwin High School Performing Arts Learning Center and Baldwin Theater Guild's production of Grease, the high school version, by Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey, directed by Linda Carnevale, with musical direction by Tana Larson. The cast in this production came from Kekaulike High School, Iao Middle School, as well as Baldwin High School. Ms. Carnevale also recruited some of the school's alumni. Barry Kawakami played the teen angel, Cameron Lum did Johnnie Cassino, and Michael Hobbitt Tripp played Kanicke. The story is irrelevant because it is about a good girl, Sandy Olson, played by King K's Lillian Hagler. When I was in high school, we would describe her as a preppy or cliquer, who has to transform herself to get her greaser suitor, Danny Zuko, Michael Berrigan, not exactly the most positive message. But the music is what this show is all about. Unfortunately, again, the live student musicians were left out of this production. It is all on tracks. It would be so much better to go back to the tradition of working with the Baldwin Music Department and producing a real musical. The high points in this show were the singing and dancing. The amazing Kathleen Schulz not only choreographed this show, she was also the costumer. How does she do it? We all know this music. Summer Nights was a total showstopper, only the second number in the show. Aaron Pardini choreographed those magic changes, featuring the Pink Ladies, Greasers, Danny, and Eugene. It was a fun number. Freddie My Love was the Pink Ladies number, but it features a very nice solo by Miley Labonte, wearing a most becoming kimono. Then came Greased Lightning. When it makes its entrance, it is a primered, finned vehicle that is pushed on by Kanicke. Then, when the number starts, it spins around to reveal the completion of the masterpiece in all of its glory. This number featured the Greasers and Mr. Tripp, who had Kanicke down. The leader of the Pink Ladies and Sandy's competition for Danny's affection is Rizzo, Baldwin Sr. Analea Calder. She does a very nice job on Sandra Dee, and her characterization, along with Mr. Tripp's Kanicke, were among the most satisfying of the cast. The first act closed with the entire cast killing it on We Go Together, featuring marvelous choreography by Ms. Schultz, who makes non-dancers look like June Taylor dancers. If you know, you know. The second opened with Sandy lamenting about the rain on prom night, then switched to Johnnie Cassino holding forth on a Fender guitar in a pink jacket, most becoming. The best number in the show was delivered by the visiting producer and alum Barry Kawakami as the teen angel, doing a drop-dead version of Beauty School Dropout. The production values on this show reminded me of a number from Red Skelton's Shower, another live 50s TV show. The curler headpieces were crazy, and Mr. Kawakami's pompadour was off the charts. It was a fun show, and kudos go to Carol Walker, who also did the sets for this show, too. It also runs only next Thursday, the 7th, and Friday, the 8th. Tickets are available at the door. It's a nice effort by a hard-working group of young people and adults. Go and support them. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo for joining me. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui strong. Ahui ho.